Hej alla, välkommen tillbaka. Tack för sist. Cheers. Thanks for the last time. Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. So, I got something I want to talk about today. For those of you that don't know, I grew up in the Mormon church. I actually went on a Mormon mission in 83 and 84 back to my home country of Norway, which in retrospect was a real blessing because I got to meet all my family again, relearn the language, really connect. I left the Mormon church not too long after that. I mean, it's been decades since I've been part of the church, but I have family members that are very devout, and a lot of friends that are. I've got a lot of friends that have left as well. In fact, I had one friend that I would have thought, not 1,000 years would he ever leave the church. He was so into it. But my point for this video is there are so many misconceptions about Mormons, and I know they like to be called LDS, Latter-day Saints, whatever. The whole name of the church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I get it, but it's always been Mormon to me, and that's what it is now, and I don't mean offense by calling them Mormons. I have, like I said, many friends and family that are Mormon. But there's so many misconceptions out there. One of the big ones, because I travel all the time, and people here, I live in Utah, and they're like, oh, are you Mormon? And I'm like, well, no, I'm not, but I did grow up in that church, and they always ask, do you have a bunch of wives? Now, a lot of them are just joking around. They know that's not a thing. But some of them are serious, and there is a sect that has broken off. In fact, just about 30 miles south of here, there's a section of where a piece of land where a whole bunch of polygamists live. You see them come into Costco like on Fridays or Saturday, whatever their day is that they like to come in. They show up, and you know what they are because they're dressed a certain way. I've never seen any of them be impolite. I have a big problem with that part where they take wives that are like 14, 15 years old. They should be in prison forever, in my opinion. So I want to get that out there. But if somebody wants to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 wives, or husbands for that matter, I don't give a, whatever. Consenting adults, as long as it's consenting adults. I don't care what your relationship is, as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're not breaking laws. But that was a part of the Mormon church way back in the 1800s. It's been banned for, 150 years. So number one, that doesn't happen anymore. A big one out there, are they Christians? Yeah, they're Christians. Now, I know some of you, even though I'm saying this, you're going to disagree with me, and that's cool. You get to have your opinion. A lot of you think it's, not a lot of you, a lot of people think it's a cult. It's not. Most of my neighbors around here are LDS, Mormon. They're nice people for the most part. I mean, it's just like any other group of people. There's bad ones and there's good ones. But I've found overall, I enjoy living in a Mormon community because the crime is low, the people are friendly and nice. Now there are some, and especially in Utah, this is a thing, where they get a little high and mighty, and if you're not active in the church, especially if they know you were Mormon and you left, they might be standoffish. That's a small percentage, and it's mostly in Utah. That doesn't happen up in Canada where I grew up. My wife's from California. It didn't happen there. It's a Utah thing, and it's annoying. But that's a small percentage of people. They're absolutely Christian. They worship God and Jesus Christ. I don't know what that is if that's not Christian. I say it all the time. I don't have the need for religion in my life. And when I say that, and I know I'll get comments here too, there are people that say you got to have Jesus in your life. You need to be born again. You need to accept. I understand where you're coming from. It's not for me, but I appreciate your point of view and I respect your point of view. I still pray every night. And I'm not even positive what it is I'm praying to. I believe in a God. I don't know what that means. Maybe that makes me naive or a goofball or whatever, but that's a really big thing that I don't think is fair when people call them a cult and they're not Christians. And I know, and I see it even more in the South, when I'm in the South and it comes up, they really, I hate lumping people together. It happens a lot more to me where people say, oh yeah, that's a cult, they're not Christian. I am really happy my parents joined the Mormon church when we lived in Norway. I was just a kid, so I don't really remember it. I actually was baptized Lutheran in a 900-year-old church in Norway. And then I was baptized later at the age of 8 in the Mormon church. Now, this is something I have a bit of a problem with. When you turn 8, they call it, now things might have changed in the last 35 years since I left, but they call it the age of accountability. At 8 years old, you know right from wrong, and you do to a point, but you should not be making a life decision at 8 years old. I remember the day I got baptized, and I didn't have a choice. I guarantee, if I'd have gone to my dad and said, I'm not doing this, I don't want to be baptized, it wouldn't have happened. It was going to happen. So as far as being a choice, that's one of the things I don't like. I don't think is cool. But that's one of the few. Now, yes, they are not allowed to have alcohol, tobacco, premarital sex. Are there people that do all that stuff? Of course there are. It's just like any religion, whether I've got a friend who's a very devout Catholic, and you have certain ways you're supposed to live. But there are people in every religion that don't do what they're supposed to do as far as the religion is concerned. Sorry about that. I don't know why it does that sometimes. I never felt like I really fit in. I never felt like it was for me. I was like, no, I don't need all this in my life. And I also like beer. So that doesn't work out. So I would like to go more into depth on this subject sometime if there's enough interest, because there are so many misconceptions. I'm not going to go into depth on their sacred rituals and stuff, because I've been there. I did all that. And it's not like I feel like I'm going to get struck down by lightning or something if I talk about it. I just, out of respect for the religion, I do not go into the stuff, that happens in their temples. And I won't. That's just my personal belief. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's cool when people leave the church and they've secretly videoed what happens in there. And by the way, nobody's getting hurt. Nothing kinky or weird is happening. It's just different. I'll leave it at that. It's different. And I didn't enjoy it for the most part. But anyway, I'll leave it here for now. If there's interest in this and a lot of people comment, and hey, we want to hear more, because I know the story I told the other day, the freaky story, I got a lot of people saying, this sucks, you didn't give enough detail. And I have another story very similar to that I'm debating telling, and if I tell it, I will go into detail. Oh my hell. Stay where you're supposed to stay. My gimbal is not behaving. So I will leave it there for now. Thanks so much for watching. If you dig the videos, I should say this at the beginning, but I'm an idiot and I don't. Thumbs up and subscribe. If you don't, that's cool too. You do you. I'm not for everybody, just like other people that are on YouTube are not for me. So I hope you have a fantastic day, though. I hope you know that I'm trying to just spread positive on this channel. I try really hard to stay away from negativity, and hopefully there's some of you that appreciate that. So have a great day. Takk for denne gangen. Vi snakkes igjen snart. Thank you for this time. We'll talk again soon. I am going to do a video about Norway and my experience living there and moving to Canada and then to the States. I'll do one of those videos. Have a great day. Peace. Love.